Good evening. Welcome to our telephone town hall meeting this evening. Thank you for joining us. This is a very special call with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. Tonight we have the President and CEO, Kent Farmer, who will be sharing with us some updates. Do stay on the line. This is a telephone town hall meeting that we have on a fairly regular basis. That's an opportunity for you to hear updates from REC, as well as ask Kent any questions you might have about REC. If you have a question tonight, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad at any point, and we will get your questions up to Kent. We appreciate you joining us tonight. You'll hear me repeat these instructions several times tonight as more and more of your fellow members join our telephone town hall. So again, welcome to our telephone town hall meeting. Thank you very much for joining us. Tonight, our special guest is Kent Farmer, the President and CEO of Rappahannock Electric Co-op. This is an opportunity tonight to ask questions of Kent about things going on with REC and anything that you may be interested in as it relates to your power system. The REC had their annual meeting just about a week ago, and Kent's going to share some additional information tonight about what was shared at the annual meeting. You'll have a chance then to hear that and also ask questions. So again, you will hear me repeat these questions a few times tonight, just as we're dialing out tens of thousands of members of Rappahannock Electric Co-op. So do stay on the line. It does take just a few minutes to dial out to all of our members, so do stay tuned. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to hear Kent, hear his introduction about the most recent annual meeting, and then we'll get to questions. So if you do have a question for Kent Farmer, the President and CEO of Rappahannock Electric Co-op, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad, and we will get your questions up to Kent. I know several of you have already done that, and we appreciate it, and so do stay tuned. We'll be getting to your questions just as soon as possible. But like I said, it does take a few minutes just to dial out to thousands of folks across the service area tonight. We don't want to overwhelm the local phone systems. We could certainly do it pretty quickly, but don't want to overwhelm the local phone systems and then not have people be able to get on and participate. So again, welcome to our telephone town hall. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Rappahannock Electric Co-op tonight, hosting this very special telephone town hall with your opportunity to speak tonight to the President and CEO of REC, Kent Farmer. He's going to share a little bit tonight about what was talked about in the most recent annual meeting, and you'll have a chance to ask him questions. I do want to make just a couple of announcements, and I'll probably make these a couple times, so don't get tired of me making these announcements. But again, we do want to make sure lots of folks are able to join. But as a member of Rappahannock Electric Co-op, you can now subscribe to Co-op SunShare. Co-op SunShare gives REC members the power to purchase 50 kilowatt-hour blocks of solar energy. You can get the benefits of solar without any on-site equipment or maintenance. In this program, any residential member, regardless of whether they own their home or rent, simply purchases blocks of solar energy. To subscribe, call 800-552-3904 or visit www.myrec.coop/sunshare. Again, if you're interested in buying 50 kilowatt-hour blocks of solar power without any special equipment or maintenance, please call 800-552-3904 or visit www.myrec.coop/sunshare. All one word. What a great way to participate in a program and purchase the 50 kilowatt-hour block of solar energy. We're going to get to Kent here in just a couple of minutes, and I see lots of people who are ready to ask questions. So please, if you have a question, please press 0 on your keypad. Do want to let folks know about one other quick announcement, that you can keep track of your energy use and pay your bill with the convenience of MyREC Smart Hub. Create an online profile today so you can sign up for paperless billing, set up outage text alerts, create auto payments, and analyze your energy use. You'll need your REC account number to set up your profile. You can get started today at myrec.smarthub.coop. So again, if you want to get online, keep track of your energy use, pay your bill, go to myrec.smarthub.coop, create an online profile today using your REC account number, and get started. So just one last time, welcome to our telephone town hall meeting with Rappahannock Electric Co-op. This is an opportunity tonight to speak to Kent Farmer, President and CEO of the co-op. He's going to share a little bit tonight about the most recent annual meeting that happened last week, and you'll have a chance to ask him questions. So if you have a question tonight for Kent, please press 0. Press 0 on your keypad at any point, and we'll get your questions up to Kent. So Kent, I will make this reminder just a couple more times because we're still dialing a little bit, but we've got lots of folks on the line. Don't want to leave people waiting any longer, so I'll make that announcement again in just a few minutes. But Kent, if you would, let's get started.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. And good evening, folks. Again, I'm Kent Farmer, President and CEO at Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. I'm glad you've joined us for our telephone town hall meeting. We host this event to give you an opportunity to ask questions you may have about your cooperative. Your comments and concerns are important to us. Last week, we hosted our annual meeting where we shared some exciting updates about your cooperative. For instance, along with your board of directors, REC's leadership has increased funding for additional field workers and equipment to complete more tree trimming to reduce the number of storm-related outages that you all have experienced this summer. We've also initiated a governance and document center on REC's website to make it easier for you to find out important information about your cooperative. We also took the first step to help bring broadband to reach in rural areas. Our fiber utility network will make it possible for third-party providers to extend broadband service to underserved and unserved areas. We're also, as Jonathan mentioned earlier, more focused on renewable energy, especially with the launch of Cooperative SunShare. Again, this program allows member owners to show their support for solar power without having to install panels on their own home. That's just to name a few of the many exciting projects that we've got going on here at your co-op. We're proud to be your electric service provider. As your cooperative, we're committed to the communities where we live and work. REC serves over 170,000 connections in portions of 22 Virginia counties. We have approximately 400 local employees reporting to local offices, working to meet your needs every day. We work for you, members of the cooperative. We want to hear from you. You have a voice in your cooperative, and tonight we've come to listen to you. And with that said, let's go ahead and get started with the questions.
All right. Thank you very much, Kent. Just do want to remind folks, it's going to take a few minutes to get to your questions just because we've got so many people who have pressed 0 already who want to ask Kent a question. So we're about done dialing. So those of you who joined late, we've got Kent Farmer, President and CEO of your electric co-op, Rappahannock Electric Co-op. If you have a question, please press 0 on your keypad. Let's take our first question tonight from Anita. Anita, welcome to our telephone town hall. Please tell us what part of the service area you're in and what's your question for Kent.
Hello?
Hey, Anita, you with us? Hey, go ahead, Anita.
Oh, yes. Yes, Anita's here. How are you?
Go. Great. Go for it.
All righty. Mr. Kent, I would just want to know, I am a new resident since 2017 of Louisa County. And the house I live in was built in 1901. I don't know whether it makes a difference or not, but every time it rains, we have hard rain. Without the storm, I lose my power.
Okay.
And I've lost power for, say, from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm worried about that because my 80-year-old mother lives with me.
Sure. Well, we're worried about it too, Anita, and I will tell you that we are doing everything that we can to minimize the potential for outages. And Louisa is one of the areas of our service territory that's been hardest hit this summer. Can you give me a little bit more information about what part of Louisa you're in?
Hey, Kent, we put Anita back just to be able to listen. So I'm sorry, Anita's not there, but Anita, if you're interested, if you could, press 7 on your keypad, and we'll have one of our team members jump on, gather a little bit more information, and then Kent, maybe somebody on your team may be able to reach back out to her, or if there's a customer service number that you want to share, that maybe Anita can provide some additional information to us at a later date.
Absolutely, and for any of our future calls, if we need additional information, we will try to reach back out to you. For those of you who have a question that, for whatever reason, we don't get to tonight, you can rest assured that someone from REC will be following up with you to get you an answer to the question, even if it doesn't get read tonight on air. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that they would get a response to their question.
Great, Kent. And anything that you wanted to talk specifically about Louisa County or anything in terms of other work that's going on there, or I think that we can just get right to Anita?
Again, I think we'll get right to Anita to follow up with her to find out a little bit more about where she is and what we need to do in order to get our crews out there to do a little bit of additional maintenance.
Great deal. Let's go to Jim. Jim, welcome to our telephone town hall. Tell us what part of the service area you're in, and what's your question for Kent tonight?
Yeah, my name's Jim. I'm in Fauquier County. And the question I have is, I appreciate the solar share program that you've put in place. However, I am interested in actually doing solar generation on my property to put the panels up. What is REC doing to support and enable to do that so that we avoid some of the scammers that are out there in that solar power generation community? Over.
Jim, that is a fantastic question, and I appreciate you calling that in. We currently have over 700 of our members who are taking advantage of solar at their locations, and we will work with our members to make sure that the information that's being provided to you by the installer is accurate and complete, because to your point, there are a lot of folks out there selling this equipment that tell you that once you install their equipment, you'll never have to pay another electric bill. And that information, unfortunately, is completely inaccurate. But we will make sure that not only do you have all of the accurate information, but we will also make sure that it's been installed correctly. Because obviously, anytime members have power feeding back into our system, that's something that creates a safety hazard for our employees when they're out there working. So we work hand in hand with our members to make sure that they are getting exactly what they're paying for. They know the questions to ask of the vendor, and we will continue to be there to support you along the way. So again, the cooperative is promoting renewable energy where we can, but it is not the panacea that everyone is promising that it is, at least not at this point. As we begin to develop and perfect storage through battery systems, it will become even more beneficial at that point. But unfortunately, we're simply not commercially there with the storage equipment at this point. But any of our members who have questions relative to either the SunShare program or installing your own equipment, please reach out to the co-op. We've got experts here on staff that are ready to help you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kent. Just a reminder, if you've got a question tonight for your president and CEO of your electric co-op, please press 0 on your keypad at any point, and we'll get your questions up to Kent. Let's take our next question from Max. Max, welcome to our telephone town hall. Max, tell us what part of the service area you're in and what's your question.
Hi, good evening. Castleton, that's in Rappahannock County, Virginia. First time participating in one of these. I just wanted to say I realize REC does not control the weather. I am super impressed with the ability for communicating via text when there's an outage. I'm not always here. I know the nature of the outage. I get a text when it's back on. And I know that REC is not my arborist. I cannot imagine how difficult it is to do tree work at night in bad weather. I'm just really here to say I'm a super happy customer. Been here for 5 years.
Max, I appreciate the call. Our people work really hard to make sure that our member owners are not without power for any extended periods of time when we can help it. To your point, we don't control the weather, but what we do control is how well we maintain our rights of ways. And we are, as I mentioned earlier, doing more and more to try to get ahead of these things and prevent potential outage risk before you all experience the problem. But again, I appreciate the compliment. Like I said, we work very hard to try to make sure that you all have reliable and affordable power, and right-of-way maintenance cost is one of our largest, quite frankly, behind wholesale power cost. We've got 17,000 miles of line. A little over half of that is overhead, and as you can imagine, our lines run cross-country. Most of them are not along the sides of the roadways, so when we do have trees or others that fall down in there, it takes us a while to get to it and get it repaired and back up. But again, very happy that you're a happy customer.
All right, let's keep right on rolling. Let's go to Renee. Renee, welcome to our telephone town hall. Tell us what part of the service area you're in and what's your question tonight?
I'm in the Albemarle County area, and the other guy that was just talking about solar panels was actually hitting on exactly what I was going to ask. So I already have 45 solar panels on for my house and my garage, but I'd love to have a process of storing the electricity. So it sounds like you guys are still working on that.
We are working on that, Renee, and there are also several manufacturers out there who are working to help develop that storage capability. Tesla, of course, is one of them. They are selling their wall battery package along with equipment for charging vehicles. So we are looking very closely at that technology, as well as larger utility scale deployments of that same technology. And keep an eye on your cooperative living and on our website, because as more of that information becomes available, we will certainly share it with the membership. So thank you for your call.
All right, thank you so much. Let's go to Lee. Lee, welcome to our call. Tell us what part of the service area you're in and what's your question.
Yes, I'm in Frederick County, around Winchester area. I've got questions. You know, I've retired back in 2008, and since then I have nothing but seen increases every year in electricity. Since I retired, all my bills have almost doubled, and I don't understand why it is. But now the other day when I was reading in the paper, I do understand some of it, because we've got people sitting on the board that's not doing much work and getting paid ridiculous amounts for it. You know, so what justifies that?
Well, Lee, I'm glad you brought that up. We do have 9 board members, and contrary to your statement, those board members work extremely hard. As you can imagine, these are lay people just like you. They are not experts in the utility industry. So they have to spend a tremendous amount of time educating themselves about our industry, and about their duties and responsibilities as board members. I will tell you that we do compensate our board members, and the reason that we do that is because we want to make sure that we've got competent individuals representing the membership serving on our board. A lot of these are individuals are professionals who have their day job, and it requires anywhere from 25 to 45 days a year for a member of our board of directors to attend meetings, attend educational sessions, and the like. And quite frankly, if we didn't pay them, I'm not sure that we would get the type of quality individuals to do that. However, when it comes to the pay of board members, just like the pay of all of the employees of REC, that's not done in a vacuum. We go out and hire independent third-party consultants to help us determine what is fair and reasonable compensation for all of our positions, and that includes board members. And we do that every year. Quite frankly, as a matter of fact, your board has not increased its fees or services to the co-op in several years. And quite frankly, our board is some of the lowest paid board members in the cooperative network, considering that they are responsible for managing $1 billion corporation. So I appreciate your comments, but hopefully I have allayed any fears that you have that these folks are being overpaid, because they are not. As it pertains to your electric bill, as Jonathan mentioned earlier, I would point you to SmartHub so that you can follow your usage. The price of electricity has not doubled since you retired. As a matter of fact, it's probably come down since then. So the reason for higher bills is going to be higher usage. And we've got folks here on staff that would be more than happy to come out and walk through your home with you to tell you where there may be areas where you can do more to be a little bit more conservative as far as the utilization of your power. And we'd be happy to do that. All you need to do is contact our office, and we'll have someone come out and walk through all of that with you. So again, we appreciate your call.
All right. Thank you very much, Kent. Let's go to our next question from Angie. Angie, welcome to our telephone town hall. What part of the service area are you in? And what's your question tonight?
Hi, I'm from Culpeper. I understand that we have a 40-year contract for electricity, and I was trying to find out exactly why that's beneficial to the members. Is there a cap on rates should rates go sky high? Is that what's the benefit of this 40-year contract? That's a great question, Angie, and I appreciate you bringing it up. The 40-year contract she's referring to is the contract we have with Old Dominion Electric Cooperative, which is their wholesale power supplier. We created Old Dominion, or ODEC, probably 25 or more years ago as a way for all of the co-ops in Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware to pool their purchase power needs together. Prior to the formation of Old Dominion, each individual co-op had their own contract for wholesale power, whether it was with Dominion or First Energy or someone else. And what we discovered was that all of those contracts were different. They had different terms and conditions. They had different prices. And by consolidating all of our power needs through one cooperative, which is ODEC, then that enabled us to negotiate better terms and conditions for those contracts, as well as better prices. There have been some articles recently in the Culpeper and Winchester areas that compare our wholesale power contracts and what we pay for wholesale power to the daily spot market. That's comparing apples to oranges. Just to give you an example, back several years ago, we had what was referred to as the polar vortex. The spot market for energy prices during that period of time got to $9,000 a megawatt hour. That converts to $9 a kilowatt hour. You can imagine you're currently paying roughly 12 cents per kilowatt hour. So without that contract, we would be subject to those wild swings within the wholesale power market. That wholesale power contract gives us the guarantee for reliable power, and it gives it to us at a price that we can all afford. It also would be the equivalent of you financing your home based on daily interest rates. None of us would do that, and neither has your power company.
it is similar to a mortgage, quite frankly. When Old Dominion goes out and either buys or builds power plants to serve our needs, they have to borrow the money to build those plants. Well, no banker is going to lend a company those kinds of dollars without some sort of guarantee of payback. And so those 40-year contracts provide the financial world with the guarantee that ODEC will be in business long enough to pay back its loans. So those are the reasons for the contracts that we have with Old Dominion. But I will assure you that those contracts are in the best interest of the membership as a whole and have been for a long time. So I hope that answers the question about the 40-year contract.
Great. Thanks, Kent. Let's take our next question from, let's go to Raymond. Raymond, welcome to our telephone town hall. What part of the service area are you in tonight? What's your question?
All right, I'm Raymond in Hanover County, and the other day I was walking down the power line, and one of those big boxes on the pole, the lock was off of it, laying down on the ground. I picked the lock up and brought it home. I did not put the lock back on the box, so I wanted to tell y'all so you'd be aware of stuff like that. And thank you for what a good job you're doing. And I just wondered when you're going to clean the power lines again.
Well, Raymond, thank you for the compliment, and thank you for notifying us about the missing lock. We'll have somebody follow up on that. What we do in order to try to schedule routine maintenance on our rights-of-way is that for the vast majority of our system, we try to rotate on a 5-year basis the lines that we've cut. We've determined that in most normal growing seasons, 5 years gets us out there in time to minimize any risk of power outages. But what we have found this year is that because our service territory is so spread out, we have some areas that grow a lot faster than others. As you can well imagine, in the western part of our service territory, we've got a lot more rocks in the soil than we do in the eastern portion. So, quite frankly, what we're finding is that vegetation grows a little faster in sandy soil than it does in rock soil. So we have stepped back and evaluated our tree trimming cycles, and we are trying to concentrate our efforts in the areas that have received the most rainfall and have seen the fastest amount of growth. But we have, again, as I mentioned earlier, also stepped up the number of crews and the amount of equipment that we have in the field maintaining those rights-of-ways. But I would also encourage our members that when you see a danger tree, a tree that looks like it's dead and may be in danger of falling into our lines, please notify us when you see that so that we can get out there and hopefully take care of it before it causes an outage. So again, Raymond, thank you for your compliments, and we'll see you soon as far as our right-of-way maintenance is concerned.
All right, Kent, let's go to Danita. Danita, welcome to our call. Tell us where you're calling from. Danita, what's your question tonight?
Hello, I'm calling from Greene County. The one question I had is that we are we have a lot of down power outages and trees and things as well. But we do the program that had the $1 up or to donate to your local, whichever local emergency service organization that you had. The one question we wanted to know is, does Rappahannock do discounts or go back, do discounts for the emergency services workers? And do Rappahannock come out and help you go around to see if there's any leaks or anything in your windows and how to check for that?
The answer to your second question is yes, ma'am. We have energy service advisors that will come to your home and do duct testing, leak testing around your windows and doors and all of those things to try to help you be as efficient as you possibly can be. It's kind of like my mom used to tell me when she would take me to restaurant that was buffet style. Her message was, take all you want, eat all you take. Well, that's kind of our philosophy on your energy. We want you to have all you need, but we don't want you to have to pay for any that you're not using. So we want to help you eliminate waste where we can. So please contact us and we'll have someone come out. As it pertains to discounts for first responders, we do not. But I will tell you that we support our first responders through financial donations as well as a lot of other work that we do with them. In a lot of cases, before firemen are able to respond to a fire, they may have down power lines they have to get around beforehand. So we work hand in hand with the local fire departments, the local rescue squads, and I would like to just introduce a thought, and that is I think our linemen ought to be referred to as first responders because, quite frankly, in a lot of cases, we have to get out and do our work before the fire departments and the rescue squads are able to do theirs. So, Danita, thank you very much for your question, and we appreciate all that you all are doing to help support those first responders as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Kent. Let's next go to Douglas. Douglas, welcome to our call. What part of the area are you from, and what's your question tonight for Kent?
Hey, I'm in the Partlow area. I told the operator that we were talking to earlier that I had guys come out and they did some clearing, which they did a great job. It's in the right of way, which I have livestock on. Well, a couple of the trees that were outside the fenced-in area, they trimmed them to the point where they topped the top of the tree out, and they were beautiful trees beforehand. I guess my question is that guy, that foreman or whatever that came through and assured me that they wouldn't take out too much, is he going to come back and assess the damage that it totally killed the tree? I got toothpicks growing for trees now, the ones that they took out the branches on, and they were perfectly healthy beforehand. I understand clearing right away. I mean, I've done excavation for the last 22 years of my life. I totally understand clearing, the purposes for it. I mean, the trees weren't in a hazard where they were going to fall. It was just branches growing out to them. So, I mean, I'd even be willing, if they want to take one of the security lights that they want to update, if they update it, I'd pay for the light. That was the other question that I forgot to mention it to the operator, is the lights that are there have the older light bulbs. They want to upgrade them, but they want to charge me for the outlet to put the light in to bill me for it. Can you answer that for me?
I will do the best I can, but you might have to call in with a little bit more specific information, Doug, later on. As far as the lighting is concerned, we are out there taking out the old sodium vapor lights and trying to replace them with LEDs. The LEDs are dark sky friendly lights, but also provide more lumens, quite frankly, than the sodium vapor lights did. I'm not sure about, there is a charge for that security light, but it's the same as the charge was for the old sodium vapor light. The lights are more efficient in operations, but they're a little bit more expensive to buy and install, which is why the price remained the same. As it pertains to the tree work that we did, we will have somebody follow up and come back out and talk with you. Typically, the only trees we will cut or trim are those trees that are in danger of falling into our system. But if the work that we did killed the tree, we'll be happy to come out and take it down for you, and in some cases, if necessary, give you a seedling to replace it with. The seedlings, however, are trees that don't grow up tall enough to get into the power lines. So I'll just give you that heads up ahead of time.
Thanks, Kent. That's a great point. You don't want to replace a tree with something that's just going to cause a problem again.
Exactly.
Right. Let's go to Linda. Linda's got a question about solar power. Linda, welcome to our call. Tell us what part of the district you're in and what's your question.
I'm calling you from Madison. I had several questions. And the first one I'd like to address regarding the, hold on a second. Yeah, the broadband.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a very long time. We've been waiting here in Madison County, in my area, to get broadband. And I'm wondering if we're eligible for that in this particular area.
Well, again, Linda, what we are doing, we are installing an 800-mile network of fiber that will connect all of our offices, our substations, and some of our other equipment around the area. We are overbuilding that fiber network to have spare fiber in it that we will be able to lease to third parties to be able to provide broadband service. Rappahannock has been interested and instrumental in helping facilitate broadband into our service territory for over a decade. But I will tell you, we've also done in-depth studies that determine that it is simply not feasible for us to be able to do fiber to the home. And there are several reasons for that, not the least of which is broadband communication services is a competitive service. Unlike your electric system where we have a dedicated service territory that we are responsible for providing electricity in, there is no such regulatory framework around broadband. So the point there is that we could make a significant investment of your dollars, and 3 years later a competitor comes in with a new technology, and all of that investment that we made of your dollars becomes stranded. And so we are simply not willing to gamble your money to invest in a competitive service product, quite frankly, that changes about every 3 to 5 years. However, we recognize that broadband communications is essential. It's essential, very similar to the way electricity was 80 years ago. But the framework around broadband is completely different than it was for electricity. If the state chooses to make broadband a regulated utility, my guess is that potentially would change the decision that we've made relative to investing in it. But keep in mind that we're investing your dollars, and we're trying to be prudent investors and managers of your money. So that's why we have chosen the route we have. We're trying to help facilitate the process without putting more of your dollars at risk than we can afford to do so.
Kent, I really appreciate that, and I don't want to throw you off, but maybe I just wanted to give you an opportunity. I know that you've talked about, you've referred to member owners on more than one occasion, and I'm sure that a lot of folks who are on the line tonight understand what that means, but maybe you could just share for folks who are maybe newer to the area or new to electric co-op exactly what that means.
Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Electric co-ops are different than investor-owned utilities. And when I refer to an investor-owned utility, I'm referring to companies like Dominion, Duke Energy, First Energy, some of those. Those folks are in business to provide electricity just like we do, except they are owned by stockholders, and they are in the business to make money for their shareholders. They're also in the business to provide reliable and reasonably priced electric service. But at the end of the day, they're in business to make money for their shareholders. And quite frankly, the investor-owned utilities were offered the rural areas to provide service to back in the 1930s. And quite frankly, they turned down the federal government and said that, look, they weren't in the business of providing electricity at a loss. And so they refused. And that's when the federal government created the Rural Electrification Administration, which provided low-cost funds as well as electricity expertise to help communities, local communities, start their own electric companies. And that's what Rappahannock was born out of. Several local leaders in the community of Bowling Green got together and formed the one of the first co-ops in the country. And we are organized as not-for-profit. That's not non-profit like a charity, but not-for-profit, in that we don't work to make profits at the end of the day. Our mission is affordable, reliable electricity. And that's what we work very hard to try to make sure that we provide you. We are not all interested in making a profit. Now, I will also tell you that we have to make a profit in order to be able to stay in business, but that is not our primary motivator. And I think when you compare the rates of the electric co-ops like Rappahannock to the rates that are charged by investor-owned utilities, you'll find that they are very comparable. And when you consider that we serve 10 customers or less per mile, compared in some instances to their serving in excess of 40 customers per mile, it makes you wonder how our prices are as competitive as they are. So hopefully that gives you an explanation for that. Thank you, Jonathan,
Great.
for bringing that up.
Yeah, Kent, Linda had another question, and I want to make sure that we can get to as many questions as we can. And so, Adrian, stay tuned. You're up next. But Linda's other question was, she mentioned about the solar program, and I apologize, I may not have it exactly, but a $12 fee as part of that, and wondered what all that went to. Does that make some sense?
It does. The Solar Share program that we offer turns out to be slightly more expensive than the regular energy that we sell, and those additional fees go to cover the additional cost associated with having the program, getting the equipment, and all of the ancillary charges that go around it.
Great. Thanks a lot, Kent. Now back to Adrian. Adrian, welcome to our call. Tell us where you're calling from and what's your question tonight.
I'm calling from Spotsylvania, Post Oak area. I live down on Tolles Mill Road. I want to make a compliment to the co-op. They've done a beautiful job. We've had quite a few outages this spring due to storms and different other things, and they were Johnny on the spot. They kept me updated what was going on. When the power came on, then I got a text and everything. And y'all are doing a bang-up job, and to work out in the hazard like y'all do. Y'all are doing a fantastic job, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Adrian, I appreciate the compliment. I will tell you that it means a whole lot to our guys who are out there in the weather at nights and terrible conditions, working to restore power. When they recognize how much the members appreciate their efforts, it makes what they do worthwhile. They are extremely dedicated employees. When everyone else is being sent home, we're calling our workers to come in. And they have to work in some pretty difficult conditions. But as long as they know that they've got satisfied member owners at the end of the line appreciating what they do, it makes it even easier for them to do the work, the difficult work that they do. So thank you very much for the compliment.
Thanks, Kent. Let's go to our next question from Evelyn. Evelyn, welcome to our call. Tell us where you're calling from tonight and what's your question. Evelyn, are you with us?
Oh, my name is Evelyn. Yes, I'm sorry. I thought I had talked earlier. I called about the trees in my yard. They are so full and getting taller, and I'm a senior citizen, and I can't do anything about them. So do rec ever come out maybe and cut some of the branches? Because now that the other night it was so windy and seems as though they were going to blow toward the power line.
Evelyn, thank you for your call. If the trees or the limbs are in danger of contacting our service wires, then yes, ma'am, we will remove those for you. If you have yard trees that are nice yard trees but are not in danger of falling into our system, you can imagine we can't trim those, because obviously that would raise our prices even more. But anytime there is a tree in danger of contacting our lines, or especially if it's a dead or dying tree, we try to work with our members and get those removed to prevent any potential outages for them. So in your case, just give our office a call. We'll have somebody come out and take a look, and if those trees are in danger of causing outages, we'll get them removed.
All right. Thanks, Kent. Let's go to Frank. Frank, welcome to our call. Tell us what part of the service area you're in tonight. What's your question?
Yes, I'm from Culpeper. First name is Frank, and I wanted to do twofold. First, I want to echo what Max from Rappahannock and Raymond from Hanover and Adrian from Spotsylvania said, and I am biased. I am a retired employee of REC, but what they said is true for so many members in being satisfied with the electric service and the service provided by the employees. And I think Kent said earlier about those people are out there night and day, and that one purpose is to get the electric service back on. Now, my second point of comment has to do with having been at the cooperative annual meeting last week, and during the meeting, a candidate for the board of directors stood and expressed appreciation to Rappahannock for having provided him with a list of all of the members and mailing addresses. And then he said, as I recall, that I'm a little disappointed because Rappahannock did not provide me with email addresses and phone numbers. So I'm concerned and want my information with Rappahannock to be used to provide me electric service. I don't want any of that information to be given out to anyone for any other purpose. It just, in today's world where we're overrun with emails and so on, I just want my information to be private and to be used by Rappahannock as needed, but for nothing else. So I'm asking Kent if he could just clarify the REC's policy as it pertains to members' information.
Be happy to, Frank, and thank you for your compliments as well. Rappahannock is required by law to provide any member of the co-op with a list of the other members as well as their mailing address. We are not required to provide emails or telephone numbers, and therefore we do not. We are also regulated by the federal government relative to the information of our members that we can share. And those requirements prevent us from being able to share phone numbers and email addresses. Not that we would anyway, because we just, again, think that that's private information. If you want to give your phone number or your email address to someone, that's a decision that you make. That's not a decision that we make. So Rappahannock's policy is that we do not, I repeat, we do not provide anything other than what we are legally bound to provide, which is the name and mailing address. So thank you, Frank, for bringing that question up. And I want to assure our members that we guard your personal information as though it were our own, and we're not letting anybody have access to it. As a matter of fact, we have instituted a number of cybersecurity protocols at the co-op to guarantee that information of our membership is protected at all costs. So thank you, Frank.
All right, let's take our next question from Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen, welcome to our call. Tell us where you're calling from and what's your question.
I am calling from Bluemont, which is in Clark County. My home is up on the mountain, and I have two comments. One, I do want to echo what some others said. I so appreciate the quickness which power outages are addressed by myself, and it's tough to be alone up on the mountain and not have power. So I'm very grateful for their speediness with that. My question is, I'm wondering if electric charges are more during the summer months. The reason for my question is every summer my bill goes up. I've called and I've asked about it, and when I call, they say, well, you must be running your air conditioner more or higher, and I have responded that I don't use air conditioning, I don't care for it, and so I should have a lower bill, not a higher bill. I tend to use very little electricity. So my question, are the charges higher for electricity in the summer months?
And the answer to your question, Mary Ellen, is yes. Just last year, we put in place new rates that made kilowatt-hour charges in the summer a little higher than they are in the wintertime. And the reason for that is to send you, the customer, a price signal. Power prices to us at the wholesale level are higher in the summertime than they are in the wintertime. And so in our last rate adjustment, we adjusted our rates in the summer to be a little higher than they are in the wintertime. And again, the objective there is to try to help our members recognize that power in the summer costs more than it does in the other times of the year. And quite frankly, the capacity and energy usage in the summer also drives a lot of the rates that we're having to pay for wholesale power in the other months. So to the extent we can reduce our usage in the summertime, it provides financial benefit to all of us all year round. So in answer to your question, the summer rates are a little higher than they are in the winter. As it pertains to your usage and why your bills may be higher, again, we'd have to come out and take a look to see if we can determine the exact causes of that, but are happy to do so. So please just give our office a call and we'll schedule someone to come out to your home to walk through with you to try to help you better understand and us better understand why your usage appears to be higher. And if there are any things that we can recommend that will help lower that for you, we'll have that information available to you. So thank you very much for your call.
All right. Thank you very much, Kent. Let's next go to Judy. Judy, welcome to our call. Tell us what part of the area you're in and what's your question.
Good evening. Yes, I now live in Gordonsville, Virginia, in Orange County, which we have Dominion Power. However, the home that we're getting ready to move to, which has been our rental property, is in Stannardsville in Greene County. First of all, I would like to say how much I enjoy getting the REC magazine. Second of all, I just want to say thank you. I know it's a thankless job, and you don't realize what you don't have until you don't have it, what you have until you don't have it. Third, I guess my question is, when I move to my Stannardsville address, I am wondering, do I call REC to come out to walk me through if I want to get a total home generator?
The answer is yes, ma'am. And you can you can thank one of your fellow members at last year's annual meeting for raising that issue. He said, the co-op gives great reliability, but when a hurricane or something comes through and we're subject to be without power for days at a time, why doesn't the co-op sell generators? Well, we took his recommendation to heart, and we now offer backup generation to our members. We have agreements with several local dealers that will install and hook up whole house backup generator for you. So thank you for your question. And again, if anyone is interested in generator service, that is now available to you from your local electric cooperative. So thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's take, we've just got a couple more minutes. So if you could, folks, kind of keep your keep your questions short so we can get to as many as we possibly can. Let's go to John. John, tell us where you're calling from and what's your question.
Hello?
Hey, John, go for it.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. My name is John. I'm from Spotsylvania County. And my question was, is it more beneficial to us to get our own solar power or to invest in the blocks of solar power that you were talking about?
My guess, John, is that it all depends on how much you intend to use and how long you plan on being at the location you're in and those types of things. But irrespective, we will come out and help you make that evaluation once we have a little bit more specific information from you about exactly what you're trying to accomplish with that. But you are under no risk with the Cooperative SunShare program. You could start with that to see if you like it, and if you do, you can expand and go more into your own. There is no penalty for signing up for the SunShare program and then dropping out if you choose to do so later on. So that's another one of the benefits of the SunShare project. In the event you want to experiment with it, try it, you can, and you do so at no risk. If you have an installer come out and put solar panels on your roof or somewhere else, and it turns out that you're not satisfied, then you're going to be stuck with the investment that you've made there. So it might be a good way for you to check to see if you're going to like it and if you want to expand. So thank you for your question.
All right, Kent, let's take another question from Corinne quickly. Corinne, welcome to our call. Where are you from tonight, and what's your question?
Hi, I'm from Stafford County, and between Gold Vine on the southern western side of Stafford County. First of all, I'm going to be brief, but we moved to the area in 2012, and I must say, since then till now, our outages have been shorter and less frequent. We also love the notifications that we get. They're pretty on point and accurate and reliable. So I do appreciate that, and I do agree with Kent in terms of their folks being, considered first responders, because they are indeed. My question was regarding the board members. Again, not about pay or anything like that, but the selection process. What is the criteria for selecting board members? When we talk about some of the needs and some of the areas where we're looking to improve in the cooperative, are we considering that in the selection of the individuals, or are we just picking professionals out of the cooperation that are willing to volunteer or to be on the board? What is the criteria for that?
Thank you for your question, Corinne. It is actually a combination of those things, but quite frankly, it's the members' responsibility to elect our board of directors. Each year at our annual meeting, the directors are elected in staggered terms. We've got a nine-member board, so each year 3 of those members are up for re-election. The way you get your name on the ballot is that you get a petition signed by 25 members. So any 25 members can sign a petition, and that gets your name on the ballot. The board of directors also interviews each of those individuals that chooses to run for the board of directors to determine their qualifications, to make sure there are no conflicts of interest and those types of things. So your board of directors does a very good job in trying to vet individuals who are in fact running for your vote. And the board typically leaves that up to the discretion of the membership. At the annual meeting, each member is either given the ability to vote at the meeting, or they can fill out a proxy designating someone else to vote for them, or they can elect to have the board members vote their proxy. But it is entirely up to each individual member. But at the end of the day, the board of directors is elected from the membership, by the membership, and our objective is to make sure that the board of directors is a reflection of the membership as a whole. So, Corinne, I really appreciate the question on that. And again, in our governance and document center on the website, all of that information is available. So I would recommend for folks that have questions along those lines, go to our website and look at our governance and documents center, and all of that information is available there. If you still have questions, please don't hesitate to contact the office, and one of our employees will be glad to walk you through it.
Kent, thanks a lot. We're just about out of time here, and I know that lots and lots of folks still had questions tonight, and these calls are always so great that we've got so much interest. But Kent, I'm going to ask you to wrap up here in just a second, but I do want to let everybody know on the call, if you did not get an opportunity to ask your question tonight, do stay on the line. At the end of our call tonight, at the end of Kent's wrap-up remarks, you'll have an opportunity to leave us a voicemail. Please leave us your name, your phone number, your email address, your question, and Kent's team, they'll do their best to get back to you and provide additional information. I think, as you can see, that the staff at REC is very willing and able and open to helping folks out. So we will do our best to get back to you. So do, at the end of the call, leave us a voicemail, name, phone number, email address, and question, and we'll do our best to get back to you. Kent, if you would, wrap us up, please.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan, and thank you for that. To your point, we will follow up all of the calls and questions. Folks, as we conclude our time together tonight, I just want to take time to thank everybody who took part in tonight's town hall meeting. I can assure you that we place a great deal of value on your questions, your comments, and your concerns. I also want you to know that you don't have to wait for us to ask. You are welcome to contact us at any time. Ask us anything you would like, and we will get you a response as quickly as possible. Again, thank you for spending some time with us this evening, and thank you for being part of our Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. We are REC. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.